Hello, beauties. Welcome to Iconic Edge Day 2. Today is going to be a workshop vibe, workshop and a time of reflection to look at where you're at right now in your brand, your expression, where you're not showing up as the XYZ expression you want to. And we're going to be looking at your feed. So I should have said this before the call. If you are able to, you can use your laptop, it's so fine too. But if you have a pen and paper, that would be helpful. So you can write some things down, but laptop works just fine as well too. So I see some of you going to grab that. I'll give that a second. Amazing. So this week is all about tapping into the things that come through you from the archetype play. Some things that we were talking about right before I pressed record was that if there's an archetype that you're resisting, that's where the work is. Because when you tap into that, it's both. The work that you're resisting, tapping into that is going to reveal, ooh, there's judgment here. Ooh, when I move this, ooh, like maybe some in-person life happening, shadows, something may come up. And when you work, process that thing, more expression will come forth and forward. So it's like removing the mud, whether it's the mind, the heart, whatever it is that there's resistance to, whichever archetype it is. So there's that side, creating capacity for more. This is where expression is revealed. And then there's the other side of it too, when you tap into even the one that feels the easiest, you feel the most comfortable in at a heightened way, if it's the playful. If you have a playful morning, it will give you so many more ideas, creative ideas, whether it's in content, in brand, in offers, offer names, and just your actual magnetism, your you. So everything comes back to magnetism. The work that we're doing this week is all about embodying, is all about discovering and creating, removing, finding, revealing the things that want to come forth on us and what doesn't feel safe and why. That's where the shadows come in. This is where the things that we need to set the foundation for our Instagram and our boundaries and standards and really dive into, why don't I want to share XYZ thing and what is it? And then next week we tap into articulating the things that we've been embodying. So this week really I would really, if you haven't been tapping into the archetype plays, I really suggest tap into them. And if it's a schedule thing, even if it's, out of the scope of these 2 weeks, keep these practices up. Bea, I saw that you dropped some songs in there. I love that. Share with each other. Music is so subjective. You may love and hate my music. This is where you get to find yours. And one thing I love to always share about music is music is so healing and it's so personal. The best way to use Spotify to really own in on music for you is, let's say you love one of my playlists or somebody's playlist, start one of your own with each song that you love on one playlist. So maybe you have 5 from mine, right? And then on that one, let Spotify suggest some songs to you, and then it'll slowly give you some more too. It's really cool to do it that way too. Maylene says, yay, I have my dominatrix turn me on playlist. Yes. I have so many, Maylene, and because you tap into these different energies. I have a sex song playlist too, where I've only done it with a few of my partners. It's not like always, but it's like, oh, let's play some music. And it brings out a different side, a different energy. And it's songs I'll play in my yoga class too. It's literally my sex song playlist. Share the sex songs. I'll share the sex songs. I'll share them. Okay. You're like, oh, I see it on her stories. Some of it's on my IG stories and my music, but that's another way to bring that out of you. Like, the sex song brings that sexiness to me, because also when I hear that music, it doesn't just make me want to fuck or make me like feel sexy in that way, but it's also like this, that like slow energy. It's this like present, that it's the grounded presence. Okay. Next week, so that I just want to highlight again the importance of the archetype play, because next week we're going to tap into articulating that through content, through messaging, through video. And on today's call, I'm going to prompt you with some very specific questions, and we're going to write down some words, some models, and some of these things I'm sure you've done before in different brand programs. But what's different here is that we're going to look at your feed, right? And find the disconnect. And you have prompts about, okay, what can this looks like? And that's where I come in with different ideas and things like this. So the homework from after today is in your list in order to create your brand, the brand identity, the visual presence, the visual signature. There's the internal and the external. The internal, that's the shadow work, the things that we have been talking about. Then the external, which does matter too, looks matter, is we could play with style, the pictures, the photo shoots, the setup, the reels and videos that you're making. Okay, does that sound good? Yeah, amazing.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Because you have the playlist and you play your playlist, and I've seen your morning embodiments. Do you wake up, and I heard your voice note previously about your experience. Do you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is put music on to get embodied, or you sit alone, put on your red lights? Like, how do you get out of bed into that?
Yeah, so I love that. And it's interesting to me that this is one of those things to where you don't realize people want to know that, but so many people ask me that. I've had a friend and peers that stay with me sometimes are like, okay, what are the exact like first things you do, like step by step when you open your eyes? What do you brush your teeth before you go drink water? Like, what do you do? And I get it because like if you have a partner and kids, like, oh, I get distracted, or like, what is that? So I'll share that with you. And even when I've had a partner, let me say this one piece about like when you have a partner, you're sleeping with somebody, like they're in your house. I've had dated men to where I haven't had a steady partner in about a year, to where I set the groundwork. I'm like, this is what I do in the morning. Usually I get up before them anyway. Usually it's just how it's been. And I like kind of veer off and go do my own thing always. And it's kind of cool because I've had a partner where he thought it was sexy. He thought it was sexy, and I had to stop. Sometimes like, just stop looking. He would like to walk by and look at me. And I'm like, I can't, like, just stop. It distracts me if I think you're there. I need to know that you're not going to come in. It was in another room. But he's like, I just like watching you. I'm like, it doesn't work that way because we're going to end up fucking. And like, that's not the purpose of this right now. It's not the purpose. So, and then I've had a partner where wanting to come and join me, which is fun too. But also it takes away that little piece, and it took me saying, or me deciding to get up earlier, and then we could do something together. Yeah. So, and right now I'm not sleeping, like have somebody next to me. So I do have like full freedom to do whatever I want. And it looks like, I wake up in the morning and it's been this first thing for no joke. Kristen, I know you know this story. I'm pretty sure because from our podcast for like 8 years now, and it became habit because from a time of, I think all you guys know the story. I tried to unalive myself before, and when it didn't work, and so much gratitude and lust for life happened, this insane gratitude piece for me, lust for life, was born. So every day, even until today, sometimes it's just by habit. I don't lean into it, but I catch myself and make sure I feel it. It's a thank you, God, for waking me up and giving me another chance at life. And it's like a stretch, and I lay there. Sometimes I say it out loud, or I think like I'm so grateful for something and why. And it gives me a chance to really think about, okay, what's happening right now? And I'll tell you what it was very recently. I got to move out of my place very soon. And I've moved a lot of things. So my home is super bare right now. I have a 4-bedroom house and it's super bare. It echoes everywhere. It's like really empty right now. And I'm like, it bothers me. It like, I say that I'm so grateful, but I hate it. I'm like, where's all my stuff at? It doesn't feel like homey, like me anymore. Right. So I wake up kind of annoyed to walk out the door. And I'm like, I'm grateful for this house. It's so big and I have so much space to create content and have fun. I find the opportunity in the problem. And there have been times when, be very honest, there have been times like in life when money felt stretchy, for example, like things were maybe sales weren't exactly what they were. And there was like this icky feeling in my tummy when it came to money. And I'm speaking to money a lot right now because working with that relationship has really shifted my identity. I put a drop in today about different energetics. And that I would look at, oh, when you wake up in the morning and when you take that deep breath, something's gonna come up. So to answer the question very shortly, no, I don't turn on music right away because the first 30 seconds to a minute, my body, my energy, my intuition will tell me what type of music I want to listen to. So it's a gratitude thing, and then I go and then I go brush my teeth. I think it's weird to drink water before brushing teeth. Go brush my teeth, and I drink a shit ton of water, and then I go sit in front of my mirror, and sometimes I just stare at myself for 30 seconds, and just give myself some eye contact. This is always every day, and then I'm a breath work person. So then I do breath work for 12 to 22 minutes. Sometimes, yeah, 12 to 22 minutes. A very specific one. I like it from this guy. A guy. He's very like. It's called Think Bigger. It's called Unapologetic. One's inspired by Conor McGregor. Another one's called Game Day. So I visualize myself. It's for athletes. It's called Game Day, and I visualize myself running through my day like a football player, like breaking that paper. Breaking that paper, running through the paper, and I start my day that way. Then music. What a little tangent, but that was a good question because I think that that's an important part of starting the day, getting into state, and that's what my getting into state looks like. And when it's a travel or I'm with people in a house with people, and Kristen, we were in house together before, and you have a morning practice too. You would go out and do your thing in journaling. I would not do my thing too. Okay, was that helpful? Do we like knowing that? Yeah. Okay, so let me pull up my notes here. Okay, now before we tap into the prompts, the questions, and then you're going to be pulling up your feed. So just when we go into the feed part, I ask that I don't know if you have your alerts on, try not to go in your DMs or try not to look at comments or anything. That way we can keep the energy in the space. That way you don't get distracted too. Because I'd be like, let me just go look real quick if so-and-so replied. Okay. The very first thing when I ask you this question, when I go to your feed right now, assuming that you've done some of the archetype play, assuming that you've tapped into some of this, like the playful kitty to the sexy you, the one that you feel the most comfortable and excited in, the one that you feel the most comfortable in. Right now, the vision you have of your multi-7-figure leader, when you think about the brand that like, oh, it lights you up, the energy, the frequency, like, oh yeah, that's me, when you feel like your hottest, richest, most beautiful brand itself. Does that presence, that expression and content match the way that you feel inside right now? Knowing that you're powerful, sexy, bold, edgy, whatever your words are, which we'll tap into. Do you feel like it feels like you right now? Just a reflection for now. Is the vibe that you transmit into the world with your clients, even on calls, that you want to put out into the world, is it congruent right now with what we see and feel on the feed? And any notes that or anything that comes up when I open for questions, we'll have a space for questions, but I want to make sure I get through all of these prompts first. So I'll let you know when there's a spot for questions. One thing I want to start with when it comes to identity, I'm going to be going to identity, the client mirror, the client that you're calling in, visual congruence, presence, and content positioning. These are the things that you are auditing your own content right now, your own feed, your own brand. And from there, you're going to create the identity that we're going to bring to life next week. Ready? All right, the first one, when it comes to brand identity, something that I find, and I didn't really notice this until I would say about a year ago, that isn't really, I've actually never heard anybody really speak to it this way. And it just landed to me when I was reviewing people's content, people that I look up to, people that I hire, people that I peers, and really seeing, oh, like where this disconnect piece is. Very recently, the languaging came to me. Now, we all know the difference between mentor, coach, teacher, service provider. If you were to really think about it, which one do you lead with the most? And I'll give you a little breakdown. And which one are you? And which one do you actually Are you embodied to be? Do you want to be? Now, neither are better or worse than, they're just different. And I'm going to give you a little rundown. The reason this is so important is because one, I've never heard anybody say this, it will influence the type of content that you post and the type of clients that you're calling in. And there could be something where you're possibly accidentally wanting to be a mentor because maybe you don't exactly know the difference, or maybe you think it's better because your mentor is a mentor, but maybe you haven't had the lived experience to actually mentor in what you're speaking to. So you're actually a coach or a teacher. I took some notes here to share with you guys because this is a quite different angle to this. Give me a second. Okay. And why this is important to understand in your brand. So mentor, and it's going to dictate your content. So mentor, when you're mentor, you're not only teaching strategies, you're transmitting identity. Like you're somebody who can hold space for somebody's evolution. And you do hold and do identity work with clients. You're not just building a skill. You're going to speak to mindset, to standards, energetic calibration. Damn straight, you'll be sharing thought perspectives because you're talking about people, about who they become. So that's some of the content that you need to have more of on your feed. That's embodied content, who they are and who they get to become. And this is because you've actually lived the experience. You've lived that life. You have stories around it. You have opinions around it. You have strong perspectives around it. Kristen, I was thinking about you, what you mentioned to me one time about what it really takes to create a successful business, whatever people are deeming as successful business, the relentless like work. This would be that because you've done it. You've done it. And that's mentor talk. That's identity talk, who you become, who you need to be. And then you have coach. Now this is your guiding you, and you can be a mix of both. Just understand that I'm a mix of all of them. But I shall get into that in a second. This is about you guide people to find their own answers. You have containers and frameworks, and you speak to that, you teach that. And your brand is a lot about, or has an aspect of support and accountability. Accountability, support, more, and I'm going to speak to these in extremes rather than direction. So you don't necessarily speak to shifts. It's more about questions, reflections, and facilitating. Content will look like prompts, reflection-based posts, frameworks, tools, guided exercises, and personalized or customized strategies to people. Like I said, you can be both, but sometimes, like if you are a mentor, when you evolve into when I say evolve, I don't mean it's better than the other, okay? Let's get that out of the way. Neither are better. But if you are actually a mentor and you're just comfortable in teaching coaching content, it's like there might be a disconnect where you feel like this thought perspective isn't good enough. There has to be a coaching aspect. There has to be something else, when actually the thing is that perspective shift. It's your thoughts, because not everybody has those thoughts. It's probably the things that are the most fucking basic to you. I'm going to jump ahead for 1 second. These things would look like in a piece of content, because we think in content on these calls. A piece of content would be just a picture of you with like, I'm just picturing a picture with like a black gradient, and that's my design, a black gradient on the bottom with a statement. Something I would say is, we scale the brand by scaling the woman. You know, and then in the caption, go into town about what I think, go down into what I think about it. I say a lot of other things too, but that's what that can look like. Then you have the teacher. Now, this is where I find that as you evolve in your business, sometimes people get stuck here, where I taught too. I taught a lot of content and messaging, like how-tos and this and that, but then you might evolve out of that. Maybe that, and that's when it comes time to, you have a course, you have frameworks that you hire Kristen to help you figure it out. but you have the course and frameworks, and you're really putting that together so that your people have access to that, but you're mentoring and coaching in a different way. The problem is when your content stays with that. If that's you, if you're a teacher, beautiful, great, own that. It's perfect. Brand and content will look like tutorials, how-tos, a lot of educational content. This is why when there's a whole thing going on about educational content is good, not good, high level, not high level, it's what you want it to be. I mean, even at higher level, I educate about expression. There are multi 6 and 7 figure leaders, you guys here in this space, hiring me to learn about expression. So like, don't get too caught up in is educational beginner and basic. It might not be. And when you are shifting identities, you may have to re-educate again on what you've said before. And then the last one is service provider. This is all I've done for you, value delivery. And that looks like client case studies, visual portfolios, branding, reputation work, proof of work. That's what that is. So now to wrap up that piece there, when you have a clear thought about that, it will shift. One, it'll have more clarity in your content and in your brand. But this is part of your identity. So and if you are just, I know you guys resonate with my brand, I'm a mentor. I'm a mentor for a fact. I also am a really good fucking coach too. And I do have some teaching. Mentor is my overall coaching and some teaching. What do you guys lead with? Put in the chat, what do you guys lead with the most? And is that, and just have a thought, like, is that reflected in your brand? Because also think about this, like that high level woman, if it's a mentor, Bea says mentor, but sometimes my content is more teach, I think. And this is where you get to refine what your percentage is, like what that looks like. Because there is a time to teach, but and me knowing your content, I would say, yeah, you have a lot of teaching. And it's not bad, but you get to you get to tap into the mentor talk too. 15 years of sales that you have, right? 15 years, like yeah. And just like life. I think I'm more mentor. Inside my programs, I think I do all three: mentor, coach, teach, and teacher. Yeah, same. Yeah, yeah. And this is where you differentiate your content. This is where sometimes where I find that, like Kristen, do you think you have mentor content?
I guess yeah, that's where I am like, okay, if that's what's happening inside, do we want our content to be like a reflection of all of that? Or does it get confusing for people if it's like a, a blend?
So because you do it, you do want to have some of it in your feed. And
Mm-hmm.
I always say the best way to do this, it can be through, or a good way, can be through client like transformations, client results, because in there you're going to go into showing the method, showing that
Yeah.
like, oh, I do teach this, like this is what I do. And
Yeah.
also I would even say though, Kristen, with your work, because I would say we, myself included, do need education on that.
Yeah.
So for you, I do not think at all it would be confusing, but I would suggest really differentiating, letting yourself have just leadership thoughts, just
Yeah.
as
I need more of that. That's what's missing, I think, in my content is like I lean more towards the like teaching, probably teaching in my content.
Mhm.
And then, but I'm feeling that's where I'm feeling it. It's feeling I'm outgrowing that and I want to do more mentorship style content. So this is really helpful, this framework. I like it.
Yeah. So then for you and everybody in here, let that challenge be, though this is going to feel like a challenge. This is going to feel like a challenge. The post that I said, a picture of you with with a thought, and then just like riff it out. If you're a chat GPT or I am, I'll like tell chat GPT, I'll talk it out and I'll be like, I'm writing a post about this, I'll share my thoughts and I'll just say, organize this. Do not change a thing. Keep it, just edit for readability. Just organize it so I can put in a caption. Tell me how many characters. Yeah. And then let that be the challenge is, ooh, do I put a CTA? Ooh, do I attach it to an offer? Ooh, do I do this? And yes, you can put it to a CTA. You can say this is the work that we do in my private mentorship, or or not. This is who I'm for. This or also nothing. Because you do have so many converting pieces of content. So I love this and I can't wait to see. I guarantee you already know the thought right away. Yeah, I guarantee all of you guys know the thought. Okay. That was a big one because that will shift also who's coming into your space. It's like, hey client, if you are, we all love our clients, but if you're answering all these how-to questions in your Telegram and you're low-key annoyed, but then it's like we go to your feed, it's all how-to, it's all teacher stuff. It's like, well, of course they're gonna come to what you're talking about forward facing. Remember, your content creates the conversations you're having behind the scenes. So you want to make sure that the deep conversations you're having with clients, you're bringing it forward in your brand. Okay, next one. What are 3 to 5 words that represent this version of you that you're bringing forth in your brand? I'm sure you guys have a whole list somewhere, but let's pick 3 to 5. And again, I will never shut up about archetype play. I'm telling you more what these and you'll start to formulate what they look like, what they feel like when you tap into this dancing, the movements and into your body with different kind of songs. Especially the ones that you are both, the ones you're resisting, actually all of them. I can't say one's better or worse. So now that you have those words, go take a look at your feed right now. Now tap over to your feed. And first look for where are they present? Like where do you see them right now in your brand? Is it in what you're wearing, what you're saying, the look, the frequency, the feed? So where do we see that? And then highly important, where don't we? Is it there at all? So as things come up, and if you have any notes about, oh yeah, I can't see X, or if some ideas pop up when you do, write down ideas to bring forth. Did you have an idea while looking at something? And then the next piece of this, what does it look like? Now, this is going to be the work for this week. What does that look like? Now, how do you reveal that work? How do you find it? You look at things that inspire you, things that you actually like looking at. Is there part of my brand that activates you in a juicy way? Like, oh, maybe it is some kind of pearls or black or whatever ideas you have of my brand or somebody else's brand. It's not by way of copying. It's about if something's activating you. I'm gonna drop our podcast, Kristen, for the women here to listen to, because I go into so much detail about this with where you can look for these too. Halloween costumes. With Halloween around the corner, what do you want to dress up as for Halloween? And a lot of times, if it's like really sexy, sexier than ever, it's like, oh, you need a reason to feel sexy. You need Halloween to, oh, it's okay to be sexy. Maybe there's a sexy side of your brand, that of your expression, that wants to come forth. And what does that look like? Is it playing songs from your sex list? That's me. It could be through music. It doesn't have to be, dancing slow on your stories or whatever we're thinking it could be. So the biggest work this week, and I highly suggest no scrolling, no consuming of other coaches that are teaching similar things that you teach and preach. No consuming business coaches. No consuming other sales coaches. No consuming content coaches. One of the biggest things that I did that was so fruitful to my own expression was favorite accounts. Now, take this with a grain of salt, take it how you want it, because I've said this before and people are like, yeah, but the accounts that pop up, that goes who you show, they show your content to, the algorithm and all of that, but I care a lot about my own consumption. So take that, just I have to preface it with that. But I have like photographers, and this is my expression, but photographers, some photographers favorited. I have a few music artists that are like different favorited. I do have some thought leaders. I have Byron Golden. I have some people like him favorited. Models, like a few models that do like these, those, or have you guys like those Russian chicks with those leg workouts that they do? And I know the sexy floor stuff. I have like two of them favorited. So when I open my feed, I'm like, ooh, I'm not like, ooh, that's how she's making all that. How I'm not looking at somebody's framework or something. Those 3 seconds when you open up Instagram, what if it was like a ooh, fa versus a, oh, what is she doing? Like so and so coach, right? So that's the work for this week. Does somebody want to drop some of their words inside there? Put some of your words, the 3 to 5 words in the box. I want to know your guys's too, so that when I peep, I just have an idea. I'm so excited for our private next week, Kristen. I need to do this. I have way too many people I end up comparing my content to, and it puts me in overthinking for sure. Yes. Yes. I get that. I remember times when I would open up my feed and I was following people that I hired to also help me refine the things that I'm doing. So like very similar teachings. And I would go on to post about something, and somebody that I was paying at the time, coincidentally, their post popped up that was similar to what I was talking to. I'm like, oh, let me go see. Oh, let me go refine mine. Let me change it now. You know? And it's like, yeah, that's a big one. It's a big one. Leader, soul, visionary, activated. Ooh, activated. Powerful AF, wealthy, dominatrix. That's my brand theme. Love this. Seductive, strategic, bold. Yes, yes, yes. So good. Okay. Okay, next one. If we go to your feed right now, can I tell something that you stand for? And let's go into values. Seductive, half and half. So pick, let's say, one hard no, or no. Pick, let's say, think about what are 3 of your values that you want to bring forth into brand, because this is going to tie into the brand as a whole. Now, something that I want to make sure that you guys understand is that when it comes to content and like the feed, you will have content and marketing for a specific offer, for offer awareness, so people, it's clear your skill set, your framework, it's clear what you do, like that's important. And there's also brand content, like brand messaging, which is where this is the thought leadership, which is you're building the brand legacy thoughts. And I wanted to point out that differentiation, because I think a lot of people don't realize this. We need both. It's like, fuck, how many times we're going to post a week, right? But you do have the content like offer awareness, and then there's brand awareness too. So values are going to tap into creating your legacy. What do you value? Something in me, I value, obviously expression, freedom of expression. I value fitness. I value feeling good, feeling sexy, feeling hot in your brand. I value creating visuals that feel like you. I value freedom. I value traveling. What do you stand for? Freedom of expression. Because you think about this, like sometimes when I think about the values, I think, I'm gonna ask you this. What do you wish all of your clients would do? I'll give you an example for me. I wish all my clients worked out like early in the morning. because I know the benefits of it. I know what that does. I wish the world, say the world, ate better, drank a lot of water. I got these things matter to me a lot. And I choose to bring it into my brand. Happy, hot, rich as fuck. Happy, sexy entrepreneur. You see these things, like if you follow my feed and stuff, you'll see like they're dripped in. My values do not show up in my content. I love that tag for you. Happy, hot, rich as fuck. I love that you said that. It's beautiful. As you evolve, it's like, I love it. It's like core to my heart. And there is a big part of me. It's like, does it need to be wealthy? And just sharing this with you guys in real time. Does it need to be wealthy? Because it just sounds like wealthy, and making projections from what I see online. I'm like, no, that like fits me. Happy, hot, rich as fuck. Yes. So that, you guys, like, what's your that? That's actually one of the next things that we'll tap into that right now. Actually, let's stick to values for a moment. Yes, the sexier you feel, the better you sell. And it could be like, if you are, a couple are watching the replay, if you are family, if family is like you value spending time with your family out of business or traveling, how can you bring that into your brand and your feed? It could be through B-rolls. It could be through actually saying it. It could be through when you do the thing that you sell and offer, teach and preach, when you get really good at XYZ thing, you get to spend more time with the family. Like it gets to tie in with your work. I see that for you, Kristen, like it just tapping into some of these values. It's like your work really creates a lot of time freedom for coaches. Yeah. And that values go beyond like it just everything. I look at me and like self-leadership is such a big thing for me. Creativity. So do you guys have some of the values written down? Because these things now, if you feel stumped or stuck, it's reflection time. Write down. I'm not sure. I can only think of one right now. Because next week we are going to have content. I'm going to show you some examples too of content where, okay, yeah, this is what my woman's going to value. Speaking of water.
And that's a good question about the values. What are your thoughts on, say, non-values in content? So it's like we show our values, but also like what the things around like, so for example, something that's coming up for me, because I don't quite have the word for it, the value, but the non-value is like, my people are not like the soft life girls who just like, want it to be like super easy and like freedom, meaning can do whatever they want, whenever they want. So I'm really clear on that like non-value. And then I'm grappling with like, well, what does that show up as like a value?
Yeah.
But could you like just do non-values, I guess?
Yeah, you can call this either you should coin this anti-values. These are my these are my anti-values. I'm thinking how people speak to anti-vehicles. Yeah, anti-vehicles. While most people are talking about what they value, let me show you what the anti-values are. That's just like a random thought, but I think that's equally as important. And I was going to speak to that. I love how you preface that. I talked to it by way of bold opinions, but this is even better. But this is even better because it is important. You're literally cutting out who you don't want to work with. And you're stating what it takes to be in your world, what it takes to have results in your world. I actually think it's a very powerful piece to say and to write because you're being truthful and honest about what it takes.
I just have a question, like, why do you think it's an anti-value? Like, for me, doing what it takes and putting in the work is a value. For example, I don't see it as something negative. It's just a different one.
Yeah, that's it. It's like the opposite, right? So the value
Yeah,
is in the work.
but the things about values is that there is like normally, unless that your value is killing people or hurting people, that's bad. But normally values, we can have good values and they can be opposite, and there's nothing wrong with it. That
Yeah.
like, and we can both be right.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course. And
So
that's,
I
I
think
don't
there's
see it
lots of
as an
people.
anti-value.
Yeah, like I think there's people out there that like love that and that's what they're all about and that's like good for them and that's what I'm saying like is it helpful to bring it in and be like not to like shame people but in any way because I totally agree with you, it's not about like it not being good, but just like over here we kind of these are the things that we value. And I wonder, is that like in your opinion, Irene, a good thing to do versus it being like is it necessary, I guess is the question.
yeah, I actually, I like that you said that, Bea, because maybe anti-value is not a good way to say that. Hearing another side of it. So thank you for bringing that up. But I do, my opinion, it is really powerful to share that because it's also, it's stating your piece. It's stating like who you're not for, because you will have people that will want to be in your world and you're just showing what's required in the way that you teach your method to have the result that you're claiming they have in your world. And it's also like, and that's the beauty of expression, Bea, where people are going to have there is no wrong. Like there is no wrong. And if you are ever, let's say Kristen in this post, concerned about if you are, or you want to address that other thing in the caption, what I always love to say is, put your pitchforks away, or before you bite my head off, right? It's like XYZ thing isn't wrong. And then you tap into the problem comes in when you blah, 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 blah. Yeah. I'm trying to think what mine is. Mine is like people that are so gung-ho, like only messaging, only messaging, only messaging. And I'm like, well, that's not wrong, but because of course we need that, but you also need expression. I say people are so, for me, it's like people are so quick to say, refine your messaging. Yeah, but your expression and embodiment has to come into it too. So yes, I think it's important. These are the bold opinions that will, people that agree with that are going to be like, oh yeah, that's me. I understand that depth, that level of what it takes. And there is, and I agree with you too, Chris. And there is a big part of the internet that's like so soft. It's like, where's that work? Where's the masculine? Let's not forget that this is important too. Yeah. So then write down yours, these. What is another word for that? I can't think of another word for that. Anti-value. Yeah, no, that was not a good one. Yeah, framing bold opinions, maybe. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, because we're not against it. Anti-soft girl, we're not against it. It's just, there's work. Okay, so with those, let's tap into those. So you have some of the values. Now the bold opinions. So share too. So Kristen, this would be one for you, a good one to write while we're in container together. Yeah. I just did one recently about something. I was talking about the dangerous woman. And in there, I went into detail, like she's this. It's like, Kristen, I don't know if you have a name for, is it the soul-led? Let me look at your word. The soul-led woman, the soul-led leader. You know, it's like she's not this and this and this. She's this, right? Like, and you get a list like 5 or 6 whole values with the quote, quote, anti thing. That way you can differentiate her. A good one that I love to say with this is, or to ask self is, what do most people say? That's different than what you actually think and believe. And I'm not on board with making other people's way wrong to make your point. Like I'm not on board with that because we're not trying to call people out. We're not trying to put down anybody else's work to make ours right. However, we do get to highlight what we actually believe in a powerful way. I just did one like this recently where just the other day it came from this, it came from this, it came from for something. Oh, Kristen, it came off of our weekend, being in person, when I just can't see content anymore. That's the one thing that you need. Because literally, I think did you see the post? Because literally, we need everything at some point. It's up to you to know when you need what. And I made a post the other day that was like, you probably actually, no, it said, you probably don't need the thing your favorite mentor is forward face selling in her content. And then I went into, technically, to scale your brand, your business, and your human, you probably need a little bit of everything that everybody's selling in different capacities at different times. Because to scale your business as a personal brand, who's a person, your brand, your human, and your business have three very different needs, and it's not always the same thing at the same time. And that was my way of going against this whole, like, you need my thing. There's a lot of that right now, making people wrong on the internet. I'm like, I can't with this right now. Okay, so your thing. So write down a couple of yours that we can post next week. Next one, this is a fun one, your brand mottos and brand themes. Do you have any? And I'm going to tell you this right now, you do. You do. And it's in the things that you say every day, and they come out in play. They come out when you're around your friends. They come out when you're at in-person events. They come out when you're on your calls. And these things, like fun ways to weave this into your brand, because you're planting seeds for people to know what you stand for. Something that, and when you want to, oh, here's a good idea for you guys too. When you want to get known for something, there's ways that you can tap this into your brand too. Like, and you'll see it now if you guys will watch my stories ever. So I want to, wanting to be more known as well for presence, brand presence. So something that I did, I just saved a word that says presence in Canva in my font, the editor's note font that I like, save it in translucent so that when I'm speaking to presence and visual authority is another one, I'll like just put it, that little thing under me talking and just like have it there. Visual presence, presence, visual authority. Tiny things. Lust for life, happy, hot, rich as fuck. And you guys get to do this too. It's like, I'm like getting really loud right now about all of your content is so converting. It's so juicy. It's so full of value. It's so like the framework, the strategy, even the identity ones, like there's words and I feel it. And also you get to state an opinion with a photo and then have a fucking heart in the caption every now and then. Let that carousel that took you an hour, 2 hours to write, carry the next day or two. The next one, post something fun. I love that. Yes. Sexy sales, babe. We should see that everywhere. Seductive sales, everywhere. Save it and like everywhere. I had an insight around this after my dinner last night, which was around the theme of intuition. Ooh, intuition. I want to play with led by soul. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Optimize through strategy. Led by soul. Tell me that last piece. I'd love to know that.
Yeah, so there's like the two parts to it. And that's like, because the brand is called Soulful CEO, which I really want to bring these like two parts together. It's like that's what my work is all about. So there's the led by soul, which is the intuition part, but then the like optimize through the strategy. So it brings that like masculine, feminine together. Yeah, those two bits. So that's what I'm thinking. But I wanted to put it there because I'm like, does it land? Is like, do you have to ask questions about it or is it clear?
It lands. I was reading it wrong because the way the text was in here, but it fucking lands. I already see some content. This is for all of you guys because this is the juxtap. Oh, I love they put this in here. Everybody in here. I can see yours so clearly too. This is a juxtaposition, Kristen. It could look like when you say, I want to know, does it land? Is it clear? Whenever we think that, I always think in our verbally, yes. How can we now make it land visually? And I have some thoughts. It's like photo shoots of you, Kristen, maybe in your next one, or maybe you already have some photos like this where it's two very different, the masculine version of you, the bold, edgy, and then the soft and flowy, maybe. Like, what does it look like? Is there two different colors you can separate it from? Is there something, right? And it could look like side by side pictures where it's like the phrase is there, but you kind of angle the words towards like this, and it bleeds into that. You see what I'm saying? And yeah, I think the smile told me you saw it, right? And then it's so with this here, where is it again? Led by soul, optimized through strategy. So it could even look like a side by side led by soul, and you do a little list of this is what it means. And on the other side, like a little table kind of, and this is what it means. Bea, we talked about one for you, where Kristen, again, the Venn diagram, two circles, where it's like one over here, you're talking about one of them, and then on the other side, you're talking about something like, maybe you say over here strategy, then you say over here is intuition, right? The circle in the very middle, all it said, then it says your statement in the middle, led by soul, optimized with strategy. You're so good. Yeah, I'm seeing that like so clearly. And this is that femme, the masculine, the intuition, the strategy. That's so good. Fuck. But yeah, I haven't seen yours. I'm gonna go peep your page. I don't think we need to get yours. Yeah. Mine would be dominate your life and your business, less vanilla. Yes, don't be a submissive to your business and life. Oh, so many visuals we can do with that. So many leather and red. Yes. Oh, we could end the call there. It's so good. Okay. Gosh, we have a couple more to get through. Okay, next few. Client mirror. We tapped into some different pieces here. They all kind of go together. Now, oh, I went over that. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, here's one. When it comes to the client mirror, I kind of blended them all together as we were talking. The client mirror, what does she desire to look like? Now, this isn't a way of copying, but I want to activate your photo shoots. I want to activate your visual expression. I want to activate your that and the way she's carrying herself. What does she want? Like, what is she doing? I think about how many times clients or just people love my walking reels, or they love my reels where I'm standing there. I'm just like looking at the camera. I'm not really doing much. It's like a slow thing, or I'm like slow motion moving. How many women love that? It's like that presence piece, that ability to be in public and just like having my picture taken. I know that that's going to activate someone, because to me, in my opinion, when a woman sees a reel like that, it's like, whoa, she's doing that in public and not caring. Like, that's cool. It's like you can see the inner work it took to do that. That's what I think, at least. That's what I think, at least. I like to believe that. So for you, it's like, let's take yours, Kristen, right? Like I have a visual of like white, and I actually have a visual of you like in a white suit or something. I don't know. But like, what is she like carrying herself? Like, what is this? And this is, again, your archetype plays, you guys, and mirror work will show you in moving the body what she physically actually moves like. Oh my God, Kristen, so many things, because when you start speaking to intuition as well, you're going to come off different on camera. Yeah. Something that's really cool too, and there's a takeaway here for everybody. When you are leaning into something new that you're going to be speaking to, we're going to use the intuition example because we're all here together. Intuition, like, is there somebody, Kristen, that you could invite to have a conversation with you on a live strictly around intuition? It's probably going to be somebody that's very like intuition-y, soft and femme, intuition-y, to where the intention is that's going to bring something else out in you. intuition in brand, or intuition, the like a series on the role of intuition in your strategy to XYZ. Or maybe live with somebody, yeah. Business, okay, next one. Oh yeah, and so tapping into that, now think about that. Now, when you go look at what the vision that you created, when you go look at your feed, do you see her there? And if that's a no, where can we tap that in? Where can we bring some of that in? Bea, I just think about your visual transformation the last few weeks. I'm like, wow, what's going to be next? Okay, speaking of visual, Maylene, is client mirror how we see our client or how our client sees us? Well, it's a little bit of both, Maylene. Client mirror, when I say this, I mean, are you mirroring to the client who she wants to step into? Are you mirroring the identity? Not by way of copying, but that she looks at at your feed and oh yeah, she's the one I want to learn that from. Here's a very surface level example, but it's actually truth. It's not surface level. I was speaking on stage tomorrow, and it was funny because I was so focused on like what I was talking about and the articulation of my work and just what I'm doing, to that I totally didn't even think about what I was wearing. I was like, I have something. But given what I speak to, given to that I talk about image, I talk about style, I talk about perception, and I actually do love style. I love it. But this is actually conviction. I don't need that to go on stage and talk about my work. I was totally fine with what I have. However, I was like, wait a minute. This is my fucking time to shine. What am I doing? So I FedEx and overnighted a couple things, but like it wouldn't be congruent for me to go on a stage. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what I'm wearing right now. Like I love my outfits. I love how I dress every day. I love it. It'd be perfect. And I feel fine. That's what I mean. I feel fine. I love it. I feel confident like this. I could go like this. But there's like, since I speak to that, I mean, this is cool, but like, you just wait till you guys see my outfit that I'm wearing. You know, you guys are used to seeing me in this. Where's the edge? There's got to be an edge. I got distracted, LOL, and had to check out of your feed, Bea. So strong. I love the visual identity you have. The red. Yes. I want to bring even more spicy. Ooh, Bea, there's your edge. What does that more spicy look like? That's something to play with. Okay, visual congruence. Do your images reflect your identity as well? Or is it just a feed? What I mean by this, you know, there's a visual piece. Like when we go to your feed, and it'll change now that we've tapped into this, like, what the hell? We tapped into the mentor, the coach, that, right? This will shift and change because I do believe while it's both, like you want people to come to your feed and know exactly what you do and who you serve. And also whatever your pose is, you know, the woof. Can you have the woof with your statement? So we go to your feed and it's not just a jumble of words, but there's breathing space. And this also makes a free, you know, you guys know I love a pretty feed. It also makes the feed pretty when you can, like, you have your text heavy carousels or covers, and then you have a picture of you where you're standing powerfully and potent. Your photo shoots, is there a dimension in your expression, or is it just one or two different looks? I feel like I have to do a whole thing on photo shoots. But when we're tapping into your expression, and for photo shoot stuff, now this is part of what I want you guys to write in your notes. What does this bold, edgy version of you look and feel and sound like For me, it's the black suits. Right now I'm in that. It's these poses that I do. It's this. What's your version of that? For me, that's my bold, my edgy. It's luxe to me. And then what's your version of the femme, the flowy? We're talking about looks right now. For me, it's actually still black. Sometimes it's white, but it's still black. And it's pearls, it's lace. It's in my songs that I use. I'm trying to think of examples from my brand, because it's not always about how you look. Because you can bring this softness out in different areas. And think about, when you're thinking about this, think about what it would look like in a photo shoot. And then maybe plan the photo shoot. Next one, when you look at your visuals, actually open up your feed right now while I ask you this next question. And if you have, maybe you don't have things where it's like kind of just mostly your picture. Maybe it is all a very busy feed. Now we know we want to shift it, maybe, if that's what you like. Does your expression look convicted, or do you look content ready?
Can you describe the difference between like looking convicted
Yeah.
versus content ready?
Yeah. So when you tap into, let's say in the body, in photo shoots or whatnot, does it look like an acting? Does it look like a posing? And neither are wrong, but you do want to have a little balance. So does it look like all posy for work and business things? Or do you also have photos where it's like you're in life? I don't want to say necessarily lifestyle content, but in a sense, like you're in life. Can we feel it's body language? It's the gaze. I have a thought about you where you're laughing. It's that. That's convicted. This is identity. And having that balance that's yours, having a mix of both. I feel like you have a mix of both, Kristen.
I don't know, looking at my feed, it's like a lot of like smiling, cute, happy, playful, but I don't really feel I don't know, I guess the other like spectrum of it is like, that's kind of my go-to, because I've never really thought about this. So when I go in front of a camera, my go-to is to smile. And that's all I know how to do.
And and that might be, but also that's where archetype play comes in to explore that.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I think also, this is a beautiful, you guys pay attention, everybody pay attention. This is a beautiful thing here. As you're bringing in this intuition talk, that may change your expression too. Because I'm even thinking, if you have like when a quote about intuition, or even the cover of you talking about it, I could just see like a more like, I don't know, I can't even, I gotta like, I don't know, I'm like trying to act like you right now. I'm like just like a wind, or like a very soft, like different expression, because it's about intuition. Is that making sense? So speaking to that could bring another side of you too, alongside tapping into this, finding what this serious, I don't want to say serious, but like other expression is. And when you're bringing in something new to everybody here, let's say like I'm using this example of intuition, it's like, this is a perfect example of, okay, we might want to tap into some educational content, right? So why is intuition such an important part of the strategy piece for the soul-led CEO, right? Okay, 2 more after more water. You're like the Tyra Banks of coaches photo shoots, like top model, but top coaches. Oh my God. I need more life images. I would only do one word content. Only do word content if I can. More life images, yeah. I think your feed has a mix, Kristen. Professional red jacket and life on the reels, yes. Oh wait, that is good. Oh my gosh. That's good. Yep. Thank you for that. Okay. Presence. If somebody were to watch your reels or your videos talking on mute, could they feel a frequency? And do you hold, when you look at your videos, so if you want to go take a look at one of the last 2 videos you posted, can you hold a presence? That's one piece. The second piece is, are you holding back? And a big part of this has a lot to do, I said this in one of the drops the other day, has a lot to do with the topics that you're talking about. Because if I were to, when I'm talking about something more on the strategic side, it's natural that my voice is going to change. It's natural that I'm going to probably use my hands a little bit more, like my hands are going to come into play a little bit more, to a little bit of sharper moves. But then when I'm talking about expression, I'm probably going to lean in a little more and my voice is going to check softer. My body language will change. I love Kristen's feed. It's like professional but feminine and fun. Yes, I agree. Yeah. Okay. So with that piece there, tapping into your, I don't want to say your content strategy, but you do need to think about, as you're speaking to the different topics that you're talking to, making sure that you are speaking to everything that's going to bring out that different expression of you. Kristen, I'm so excited to see you bring in intuition piece. I'm so excited. Yeah, very. Okay, and the last one, content positioning. I already spoke about the difference of brand and content. Is it clear what you stand for? Oh, we did this already, actually. Yeah, we went through them. I just organize them differently. So upon reflection of your own audit of your feed, what are some big things that you wrote down on your page, on your notes? Things to bring in, things to stop doing. And something about the work that we did today, this is how you audit your own content and messaging, especially after identity shifts, especially after you went through the grief of the night and part of your soul and work died and it came to be all over again. It's rebirthing. These are some beautiful things to tap into in repositioning your brand, repositioning your offers, elevating who you're speaking to. Because there's a time when it's like, okay, I stand for something so different now. And I will say this to the day that I go, is that the quickest way to show your people that something's different is through a visual. I'm not saying run and book a photo shoot, but run and book a photo shoot. Or even just start ideating, start creating. Don't let it stop you either, though.
Irene, I know one of the things that you talk about a lot, which I think is so helpful, is like the skill set and then this stuff too. Are we going to talk about at any point some of the like, because when I'm sitting here thinking right now, I'm like, how do I make this easy for myself? Like I've seen someone else's say reels, for example, and they have like a very consistent, like it's just like like a wall basically, but they have like a consistent like overlay or something like that filter on it. And it's kind of like dimmed, like moody lighting, and they're just in a chair, and it's like very simple writing. And I'm like, if I just had some like a template like that, I would do so many more direct to camera videos that could just be like set up, done well, and it would be feel like on brand. So like like will we get to that? And if not, what can you kind of suggest to like make these things easy to do so it's not overthinking the creative and it's like 2 hours for one thing?
Oh, yeah. So do you mean like the setup in the house itself, like having a spot set up?
Yeah, like a little, like kind of that. And beyond that, even just like, would you recommend having, say, like a visual, just like a template basically for that kind of thing? So it would be like, all your direct camera videos just like all look the same, and it starts to become like this like visual signature.
I was literally going to say that word. I was
Okay.
literally going to say that word, visual signature. Yeah, I went over this in a different offer. I'll do a drop in there and I'll tap into it next week because that is strategy too. So yeah, I will tap into some ideas for essentially making it faster. Um, and let me just make sure that I'm understanding it right, because I can speak to it by way of essentially we're talking batching as well. Yeah. Because yeah, actually I'll say this for next week because yes, I had a lot of thoughts. Let me write that down to add into there so I don't forget. Because yes, I'll give you one quick thing because I can't help myself. One quick thing, even to start thinking about, sometimes when you start, well, this happened with me too. When I started, like today, content is a lot faster for me today. Granted, I really worked at the muscle, but I have at any given time about 5-ish pieces of content, like 80% ready to go. And I'm talking carousels, but it's the same thing with talking to camera reels. For example, we'll talk about some setup, but you have a setup and you have written, like you already know, I'm talking batching right now. You already know, okay, I'm going to talk about these 4 videos today, for example, let's say. So maybe one day something's not going to get posted, but you get everything filmed. So you post the bold opinion that's going to take you 15 minutes, 20 minutes to post. Boom. And then the next day when you go to create, it's like, oh, I get a lot of that edited. So now you have 5 that are 60% done now. And it's slightly built. So then when you go next time, it's like a little bit faster. I have more thoughts, but that's just one idea that came to me that could help that. Yeah. Bea, do you have a good resource for AI photo shoots that don't look AI? Were those AI, Bea? Uh-oh. Um, okay. Oh, given all of that, how are we feeling right now? What's, but I always think it feels a bit vague. What is, a shift that you are, I mean, there's probably a whole bunch. Does somebody want to come up and share one thing that they have on their list before we close out? This might take a moment to integrate too, because we looked at a bunch of things. Okay.
Can you ask the question again? It just I think I'm tired. I'm distracted.
Oh, no, I was just asking if there was something on your list that somebody wanted to share, changes or things that we're bringing in, whether it be a value or a word, an expression that you want to bring into your brand as we tap into content and messaging next week.
Mm.
So a big part of this week, as I said it earlier before, is about tapping into the creativity, because we need to know what, like, the values here, the things that you felt stuck on, the things that you felt excited to share. Kristen, for me, it's that intuition piece. Yes, this, I'm so excited. Oh, that's right. All those other ones too. Yeah, I'm really excited to see you bring that forward because I know. So for you guys that have not or don't know Kristen before this intuition piece is completely new to bring in. And it's a completely, I'm going to say, opposite the other side, the other piece to strategy. And Kristen, when you start speaking to this, I'm telling you, your energy is going to feel different. That is going to dictate the picture, your facial structure, your face expression, how your voice is talking to with it. And then when you tap into also your sensual, the sexy, the archetype, your body is going to be on board with talking about, you're going to be tapping into your intuition. Very
I
exciting.
think for me, I need to bring in a lot of. I don't even. I have a mirror, but I never look in my mirror. I've never owned a mirror until I was like 20, or maybe 30. So I need, like, I love my brand. People love my brand, and they're like, I love it, but I don't really get what you sell and what you do. So I think I need to bring a lot more of everything. I need to stop hiding.
Yeah, a lot. Yes. Hiding's the big one. Get a mirror, get comfortable looking at yourself. And I know you mentioned the alopecia and the chat, like, get comfortable there. And then that's a different conversation if they don't know what you're selling. Now we're talking messaging and clarity and messaging. Both are so important. And it's like right now the work is tap into, like, okay, what does your business, brand, and human actually need right now? And it sounds like you need some mirror work, and then to create some strategic content so that people know what you do. I
Cool.
love this, you guys. This has been so juicy. I can't wait to see the things that come forward. And then don't wait, obviously, don't wait. Share this already, and you can get on and start talking about this. If you're bringing something new into your brand, you can go on your stories and talk about it now. All right. So I will see you in Telegram, and next week we're going to go into ways to bring it out, bring it forward into the tangible, into the content, and create. So keep in mind, our answers today, the things that we reflected on, are creating your brand identity. All right, you guys. I will see you in Telegram. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye.